Hello everyone, welcome to Malaradi Memorial School digital classes. In class 9th English, unit 1, we have a reading the snake and mirror. The snake and the mirror. In the last class, we have discussed that a doctor who has just started his medical practicing was living in a rented house where there are plenty of rats. So during the night, a snake happened to fall on his shoulder, and the snake has coiled around his arm. The author was shocked, the doctor was shocked to find the snake around his arm. The slightest movement that he makes may force the snake to strike him. Let us see the rest of the portion. Let me read it for you. I did not know anything for certain. What sex was the snake? Was it a male or female? I will never know. For the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my trap. From there it crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at close quarters. I was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. Still holding my breath, I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there, I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. The author didn't know what to do. The author was just shocked. Author didn't know what to do. Author was shocked. The snake slowly slithered. What do you mean by the word slithered? The word slithered, slither means move softly. The word slither means move slowly. Usually snakes don't run. The snake slithered and fell on his lap. When the snake was on the lap of the doctor, it was just looking at its own reflection in the mirror. Author was not able to determine whether the snake was a male or female. Author is never going to know that. The snake slowly crept. What do you mean by crept? Creep. Creep, past tense is crept. Creep means move slowly touching the ground. The snake crept onto the table and just stood in front of the mirror to see its own reflection at close quarters. Author was motionless. It is said that author was no mere image cut in granite. Author was motionless for some time. Immediately, he proved that he is not a mere image. He is a man of flesh and blood. What is meant by man of flesh and blood? It's nothing but a live man, a man who is aware of the things that is happening around. Author realized that the snake has moved on to the table to enjoy its own reflection. Immediately, still holding the breath, the author got up from the chair and ran through the door into the veranda. From there, he leapt. The word leapt is V2. V1 form is leap. Leap means jump suddenly. Author jumped suddenly to the yard and ran for all I was worth. That is nothing but he ran for his life. Now the author completed his narration or put a pause to his narration. One of his companions, let us said, phew, each of us heaved a sigh of relief. Many companions were there listening to his narration, listening to the doctor's narration. Let us read this. Phew, each of us heaved a sigh of relief. All of us lit beedies. Somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? No, the doctor said, God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with a gift of sprinter. Someone else asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? All the companions who were listening, they just exclaimed. What did they exclaim? Phew. What is few? Here we have an exclamation mark. Few is nothing but exclaim with relief. Exclaim with the relief. Sigh. What do you mean by sigh? Let deep breathe out. Let deep breathe out. All of them got relaxed. They lit beedies. One of the companions asked him, somebody asked him, Doctor, earlier you mentioned that you would like to marry a fat woman. Is your wife really fat? The doctor said, No, no, no. It was my wish to have a fat woman, but God willed otherwise. My wife is a reedy person, thin, reedy person. Reedy means tall and thin. Reedy, thin person who has the gift of a sprinter. Who is a sprinter? A fast runner. Some other asked, Doctor, did the snake follow you when you ran? Let us see. The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning at about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. But we found we had little to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. Somebody asked the doctor, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake run? Did the snake follow you? The doctor replied, I ran and I reached one of my friend's house. After reaching there, I smeared oil all over my body. Smear. Smear means apply. The other smeared oil all over himself and he took a good bath. That later he changed his dress, and the next day morning around at 8:30 he took his friend, one or two others also, and went back to his own house. When he reached the sight that he saw, there was very shocking. There was nothing to carry like luggage. Everything was carried away by some thieves. However, the thieves did not carry everything, did not remove most of the things. The thief has removed most of the things, did not except for one thing. The thief left behind one thing as a final insult to the doctor. His friend asked, What was that? I asked. The doctor said, My vest, the dirty one. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? The doctor laughed. I have never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. Suddenly, one of the companion was very eager to know what was the thing that thief has left behind in the room. Doctor said, "It's my vest, the dirty vest." The doctor has mentioned earlier that he had a vest which is not so white, a dirty one. Even the thief has such a sense of cleanliness, is what the doctor says. The rascal could have taken that and used it after washing it with soap. But he didn't do that. He kept it there to insult the doctor. One of his companions asked, "Did you see the snake next day?" The doctor laughed and said that I have never seen the snake after that. The snake must have been taken by its own beauty. The snake must have been happy by looking at the mirror and admiring its own beauty. That's the end of this chapter. The snake and the mirror. The title, The Snake and the Mirror, has lot of significance. The title, The Snake and the Mirror, has lot of significance in this story. You may have a doubt, why didn't the author write The Snake and the Doctor? That would have been an apt title for it, but the author has written The Snake and the Mirror as its title. The author gave the title The Snake and the Mirror. You can observe that there was a lot of talking about the mirror and the snake. The author himself has said that he admired his beauty in front of the mirror. He himself looked at the mirror and thought of drawing a mustache and shaving every day. He thought of keeping a smile on his lips always. He even admired his own beauty, took some earth-shaking decisions in front of the mirror. Later part of the lesson we have learned that even the snake was looking at its own reflection in the mirror. That is why the title has been named as The Snake and the Mirror. That is the end of this session. Thank you all.